y'all, welcome to Back to Basics with Crystal. So we're in the garden today and I'm actually getting ready to add some hay to my celery and red rosella experiment. And I thought this is the perfect time to come in here and talk to you guys about this major faux pas that I just made when I tilled my no-till garden, right? Anyway, like I said in the other video, it was a safety hazard. I was down for so long with a hurt back. I do not want to go through that again. I don't want to go through the pain. It sucked so bad. So I thought this would be the perfect time to kind of come in and tell you why we don't want to till anymore. But if you are a tiller, I don't care. You can till all you want. It makes no difference to me as long as you're getting your garden in and you're being more self-sufficient and not relying on other people. I'm happy with that. So whatever method you choose, whether you use organic, no-till, till, regular store-bought fertilizer, synthetic fertilizer, whatever the case may be, just know that when you are listening to me, I don't care. The only thing that I care about is that you're getting your gardens in the ground, getting your plants in dirt, and being more self-sufficient. All I care about. It's the truth. I'm not so hardcore organic or no-till that you know, I'm going to shake my fist at you if you don't do what I'm doing. No, I just want you to get your seeds in the ground, get your plants in the ground. That's it. That's all you're going to get from me. If you choose to go my route or somebody else's route, cool, great. Let me know how it works for you. So, with that being said, let's talk about why we don't want to till. One, it's hard on your body. It's a lot of work and it stresses your body out. And truth be told, I hurt for days after I use my tiller. I have a really nice tiller. My husband has offered to come in with the tractor, but my garden is not big enough for his tractor. I need a bigger garden. Reason number two, and actually it's probably the most important reason, tilling, turning over the earth, that breaks up microbial colonies, fungal colonies, bacterial colonies. It kills your beneficial bugs like earthworms, who, by the way, are natural tillers. They actually will go in the ground and they till, they move the dirt around, they eat, they move, they poop out great fertilizer. They're just great for the garden. And every time we break the soil up, we harm and break up those colonies. Now's the time to start giving back and feeding the organisms that are going to make our soil fertile and let us rely less on synthetic fertilizers. It's a genius plan, but it takes years to implement. That is the most important reason right there. That's it. The third reason is every time you break the earth, you move the earth up, you till, you bring seeds to the surface that have been underground and dormant. When they come up to the surface, they feel the warmth of the sunshine, maybe they feel the moisture from the water that you're applying to your garden, and they decide it's time to sprout and spread my wings, and then you end up with this. Yep, a garden full of weeds. Nobody wants a garden full of weeds because that is hours and hours and hours of screaming at your kids to help you weed the garden. So nobody wants that. So those are three reasons, in my opinion. I'm sure you've got experts out there that are super hardcore that will tell you otherwise, but I'm not. So I'm telling you the reasons why I think it's important not to till. Okay, side note. Advice that I'm giving: till, get your garden ready. It's the same advice I use. I mean, I tilled my no-till garden after all. Also, anytime that I break new ground, I till. Mostly because, and this is very true, I don't think ahead a year and think, oh, I'm going to put a corn patch over there. I usually start planting my plants and go, oh, I ran out of space. So this is all advice that I follow my own advice. Till, get your soil ready, and then start implementing in, and hopefully if you don't take in a rescue horse, you can not till next year. So let's get started. Let me show you guys how I'm going to add in some hay around my new celery plants and red rosella. Okay, so this is how we start. We start with a little white kitty bugging me. So we're going to come in with the hay. Now we want to make sure that we pull any weeds that are super close to the plant. If we have grass and stuff growing up around the plant, we want to pull everything back. We want to give this plant about an inch all the way around free of weeds. Why? Because I'm not putting any hay right up against this young plant. The reason being is that the hay will do the same thing to grass or to the young plant as it will grass. It will begin to kind of smother it out. Tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, from what I have seen, can tolerate having hay right up against the plant. All other plants, we're going to go about an inch away. Now let's say you do this, and a week from now, you come back out and the hay is, some hay is now touching the base of your plant. I think that's okay, and I'll show you another plant because I don't think you can see it over here, but we'll get a close-up of that. Gravity happens. Little white cats happen. Big white dogs happen. Little nacho dogs. That happens, and the hay will eventually move up and touch the plant itself. But because it happens gradually, the plant can then adapt to it. At least that's been in my experience. So all we're going to do, we're going to move the little white kitty, and we're going to come in here and start breaking up our hay. This is just a flake of hay. You want to make sure that when you go to buy your hay, that you preferably buy it from the farmer that's growing it. And you want to ask, is this hay sprayed with herbicides? Do you use fertilizer? And hopefully they're totally honest with you guys and they tell you, yeah, I use herbicides, or yes, I fertilize, whatever the case may be. You don't want anything that's been sprayed with herbicide. The remnants could actually be detrimental to your garden. So that's my advice. Try to buy it from the farmer. But I know not everybody lives close to hay fields. So do your best, try to get it. And once you find a source, a reliable source that you can depend on, then just keep going with them. So we're just going to come in here with our hay, we fluff it up, we press it down. We fluff it up, we press it down. We keep everything about an inch away from the baby plant. And we just keep doing this. I always start with, this is about 2 inches thick right here. Ultimately, you want to be at 8 inches thick. But every time I've gone 8 inches thick right away, Roscoe happens, and Nacho happens, and chickens happen. So I do this in layers basically. I keep it thin, and then I just come back in and add constantly. I'd rather add hay than weed. It's just much easier. It took me more time to explain that to you guys than to add this hay. I'll bring you guys in closer and you'll actually see the little cavity that's around. You can still see the earth. There are some pieces of hay in here that are touching the plant, but I don't think it's going to harm the plant. And we just press it down, just like that. And we just keep on moving. Okay, I should probably add here that before you add the hay on for the very first time, you want to go ahead and water well. Water those roots really deep. And then we're going to water our hay down again. But why? When hay is brand new, it does not necessarily saturate with water until it begins to break down. So you want to make sure that your soil is really moist. At least that is the experience I have had. Other people will probably tell you different. I'm telling you, water first. You'll be happy with that. If you wait to water, your plants may not get the water that they need. So just FYI. I wanted to show you guys up close how I put the hay around these small plants. Well, first, you want to make sure that you're not going to have any grass that's going to pop up through the hay. Again, like I said, I like to pull them, put them on top of the hay as an example to the rest of the weeds, what's going to happen to them if they pop up through my soil. A little sick, twisted humor there. All right, so what we do is we want to clear around our plant. And that includes little white kitties. White kitties covered in dirt. Okay. All right, so we've got a clear spot here. Okay, nice clear spot. We're going to grab some hay. Just grab a little handful. And you're going to come up underneath the leaves. Make sure you pull everything back and come up underneath the leaves like that. Again, pull up the leaves. And we're leaving about, that's about an inch. We're not going right up against the bottom of the plant there. Leave about an inch. Again, pull up the leaves, put your hay down. Okay? That seriously is the hardest part of putting this hay down, is making sure that you do not cover up any part of your baby plant. This is a gorgeous celery, isn't it? This, I believe, yep, this is celery. I also have some celery root out here. For us, it is a winter crop or a fall crop or a cold weather crop. We're going to plant it, or we're going to grow it up underneath these roselles, and hopefully we can get some to grow for us successfully. Wouldn't that be cool? So just going to come in and we're just backfilling all this hay. I'm going to scoot over here. Oh yeah, by the end of the day, y'all, you'll be covered in hay. You'll have hay in your drawers. You'll have hay in your bra. You'll have hay in places that the sun don't shine, and you're like, how the heck did you get there? So, just going to fill in here. Okay, now come in, pull back. If you notice any grasses that you think will pop through, just remove them out of the way. Pull back, put your hay down. That's simple. Pull back, put your hay down. You want to be about ½ inch to an inch away from your plant. Do not cover up the base of your plant with hay. I cannot stress that enough. You'll end up killing your plants and wondering, what did I do? We don't want that. That's it. That's it, y'all. It took me to do this entire row, and I'll pan back so you guys can see in a second. It took me a bale and 3 flakes. And now remember, we're not putting it 8 inches thick. It's right at about 2 to 3 inches. We're going to come back in a few weeks and add more hay, and then come back in a few weeks and add more hay, so we have the optimum 8 inches. So let me pan back so you guys can see everything, and I'm going to show you the final step, other than cleanup, of course, in doing this. Okay, y'all, so I finished this hours ago. Like I said, it took 1 bale and 3 flakes of hay to finish this long row. So now we are on to the final step. Now, I did finish this hours ago, but what happened was it was kind of the heat of the day, and I did not want to. All right, y'all, here's the finished product. Like I said, it took a bale and 3 flakes. So a little bit of hay goes a long way. This is about 3 inches thick as it sits. And in a few weeks, I'll come back and I'll add more. We don't want to smother out our little plants. When in the past, when I have added 8 inches right away, gravity, dogs, cats, chickens, they move that hay right on top of my little plants, and they smother out every single time. So lesson learned, I take it nice and slow. Here we are. Now I'm going to do one more step here that is probably not necessary, but it is for me, because you see, cats, dogs, chickens, they all love playing in hay. Hay is fun. It makes funny noises. So I take this one last step just to keep them out of it, and it's just simply watering it down. So got the water hose. Okay, so final step, we're just watering this down. What this is going to do is it's just going to flatten it, and it's wet, so it makes it less desirable for the cats to lay in it. Makes it less desirable for the dogs to roll in it. And it begins, in my opinion, the process of actually breaking down the hay into fantastic mulch. So I'm just going to continue on watering here, and I'll show you guys the end results. As you can see, it's just flattening it down really nice. It is just flattening it down. And this is just what I do. You don't have to. Alright, y'all, so we just finished up. And as you can see, the hay is a lot flatter. See that? It is really flattened down and not kind of flying all over the place. And you can see where now you can really see my celery is crooked right there. So we're just going to walk along here. Remember, this is what we want to do. With young plants, we want the hay and ½ inch to an inch away from the base of the plant, like that. You want to be able to see some ground. Yes, gravity will take over and it will backfill the space that you left. Optimum hay you want to put on here is going to be 8 inches. However, I have found, and I'm just repeating myself, I have found that when I put it down 8 inches thick from the very get-go, I have a problem with the dogs, the cats, the chickens, covering up my young plants and the hay smothering them out. So I start off a little small, and I come back every couple of weeks, every week, whatever, and I add more hay. Now, I'll walk this garden every single morning and every single night, and I'm looking for bugs, and I'm looking for weeds. And as I'm walking it, if I see a hole, like right there, it looks like it's a little light, I'll come back and I'll add some more hay. Just that simple. This is really super easy to maintain. It takes very little time, very little effort on your part to do. I told you that I had some hay, or I had a plant over here that I had put hay down a couple of weeks ago. Let me show you. Sorry if I'm bouncing around, y'all. Tripping over stuff. So these plants, okay, that I added hay to this morning for you guys. This one right here, I added hay, and you can see it's actually doing a little bit better than the one that didn't have any hay. I mean, it's got more leaves, it's got more blooms. That, you know, it looks better. But anyway, I added the hay down a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, it now appears that all of the hay is now backfilled the space around the plant. But the plant is fine. It didn't smother it out. This is just my opinion again. When this happens, it happens naturally and it happens slowly. So the plant then can acclimate to having that hay up around its base. When I add more hay in, I'm still going to leave a ½ inch to an inch space and let it naturally backfill on itself. So you can see that the plant's doing fine. It's very, very happy. This whole row is very, very happy. And hopefully I didn't stunt those red rosellas too bad. Hopefully they'll actually grow tall for me. So over here, now I told you this went in a couple of weeks ago. Well, this post right here, I mean, don't need hay around it, right? It's not growing. But there was a ton of grass over here. So let's take a look at it. Let's see what's left. Check this out. You see this? This is just a couple of weeks. It is slowly smothering out. This has only been a couple of weeks. Let's pull back over here. And you can see the same thing. It's slowly smothering out. So hay kills grass. Keeps it out of here. And this is on very thick. This is on 8 inches thick. Over here. It's very thick. You can see over here around this post where You can see the grass. It didn't get completely covered up. Look, the grass is doing A-okay in there. So we're just going to take and cover it up. And hopefully that will completely smother it out. So anyway, that is my video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I do hope that you cover your soil. Cover your soil. You're going to keep your soil nice and cool. And you'll keep the soil moist. And your plants will be very happy and thank you for it later. So if you liked the video, and I hope you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my happenings. I gotta go let Ross go off because even though he's only been on for a few minutes, he's ready to come off for the evening. And that is it. You guys have a blessed day. Bye now.